Hey guys, welcome to Mrs. Crop's Classroom. Today we are talking a little bit about text structure, but more about all the different elements within a text. So the one thing that you want to think about when you're looking at text structure is how did the author put the story together? They make a conscious decision as to how to put all the events together. So the most simple text structure is going to be the chronological one, the one that starts at the beginning of the story, and then you see all the events unfold, and then bam, you're at the end of the story, and that's it. That's chronological. Then you have something called flashbacks. So flashbacks are where the author will stop where they're at and then go back in time. And you will see what happened to a character when they were a child, or before the story took place, or even previously in the story. And when you do that, then it is going to show the reader more information that they didn't get. And the reason the author's doing that is because they want them to get specific information different times within the story so that it builds suspense, or it kind of helps the reader understand what's going on in a specific situation, and that way the reader can still be able to sympathize or not sympathize with a specific character due to the information given in a flashback. Another thing that is very popular for authors to do in text and with the structure and everything is to create what we call a frame story. So a frame story is where you have two different stories in the same book or in the same text. The thing that's really interesting about a frame story is that you have two separate stories, and a lot of times the two separate stories aren't related at all. So in one part of the story, you've got a family, and maybe the kids are going to bed and the mom is about to read them a bedtime story, and then the actual heart of the story is the bedtime story, and that's what we're reading about. That's what we get all our characterization about and everything. And so that actually becomes our main story that we're talking about, but it's inside of the beginning of the story, which is the frame story, which is the mom putting the kids to sleep. A super popular example of frame stories is going to be Sleepy Hollow, where the actual story is taking place at a whole different time than the frame. The frame is when the story begins to be told to the listener. Another really popular frame story in literature is the Canterbury Tales, where you have a series of short tales inside of a main story about a bunch of people traveling to Canterbury. So if you look at frame stories, you want to make sure that you are always able to kind of dissect the story and be able to tell what's the frame story and what is the tale inside the frame story that is being told. Because usually it's the tale that is where you're going to find your themes and the other elements of the story that you want to really focus on. Another really popular type of story, or a text structure, if you will, is where the author will actually start at the end of the story and then back up time and go back to the beginning. And so the whole time that you're reading the story, you've already read the ending, and then you have to go all the way back to the beginning and start over. Now, it's really popular in TV series. They love to shoot the end and then go back to the beginning. It's got little dials that says earlier the same day or whatever. And there are some texts that do that as well, but those are the main different types of structure that you have in a fiction story. Again, we're not talking nonfiction yet or informational yet. We will get to that in another video. But right now we're talking literary structures. So again, to sum this up, we've got starting at the end and moving up to the beginning. We've got frame stories where you have one story inside of a whole nother story. And then you've got the chronological, where everything is just kind of laid out nice and pretty and easy for you from beginning, middle to end. I hope this video was helpful with you understanding a little bit about literary text structures here. If you have any comments, questions, or want to leave any information for us or have an idea about another video that we can shoot, please leave us a comment down below. That would be awesome. Also, subscribe and like our channel if you haven't already done so, because we would be very, very appreciative if you would do that. Thanks.